When your brand is riding a wave that just keeps growing, you need more than just the right platform, you need the right partner. Gander Clothing was scaling rapidly, but their e-commerce tech just couldn't keep up. That's when they partnered with Convert Digital. Since launching a headless Shopify Plus site in 2021, they've seen incredible results. A 300% increase in daily orders, 16% revenue growth, and a 12% conversion boost. With faster load times, a seamless checkout experience, and powerful omni-channel integration, Gander has transformed into one of Australia's biggest retail success stories. And it's all powered by Convert Digital's commerce expertise. It's commerce that stacks up. Read the full case study at convertdigital.com.au.
Welcome to The Checkout. We catch up with previous Add to Cart guests and ask them 5 quick questions to get to know them better and leave you with a little extra inspiration to get through your Friday. Here's your host, Bushy.
Today's checkout guest is Grant Arnott, Executive Director at Global Marketplace and Ringmaster at Click Frenzy and Power Retail. Grant spent over a decade at the centre of Australia's e-commerce evolution, and I doubt there's anyone listening who doesn't actually know him. He's a master at spotting trends, calling out BS, and keeping retailers on their toes. In this episode, Grant dishes on the brand he'd happily steal CX secrets from, the tool that gives him productive paranoia, and why spreadsheets are still his creative outlet. Grant, thank you so much for joining us on The Checkout. We had an awesome main conversation talking all things from how you established Power Retail, the growth of Click Frenzy, being the person who introduced Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you being the person responsible for all this mayhem, and all the way through to innovation in Australia. I really enjoyed that conversation around how we need to keep pushing and innovating, that we can't just settle for templates. But I have 5 quick questions for you. Number 1, what is the weirdest thing that you've ever bought online?
Yeah, no jousting sticks for me. I have to say, I bought stuff for my wife on Wild Secrets.
Well done. You're a good husband. The question I had for you around weird purchases, the gold statue men that you have at the All-Star Bash, you become famous for them. Where do you even get those guys from?
Oh, I won't take credit for those. That came from our team. I think that was Brittany specifically. But yeah, when I heard about the fact that we could, I said, yes, sign me up. And yeah, we talked earlier about emblems, and I think the fact that, you know, winning the All-Star Bash, you get a singlet and you see these All-Star Bash singlets in the boardrooms and offices of all these major businesses around Australia was a great win for us. And then, yeah, adding the gold men, a lot of people say the All-Star Bash is the Oscars of e-commerce. And I wasn't really with that view, but now that they're there, it's fantastic. And the first year we put them, they were so still that I had a few people come up after saying, oh, those were actually people. We thought that was gold statue.
Well, mate, you should be very proud. Your legacy will be, gold men in their undies at award ceremonies.
Yep.
I love it. Number 2, which retailer has most inspired you recently?
Yeah, recently, look, I'd go with, again, I always come back to Birdsnest. I just think everything they do, they've been true to themselves. It's a wonderful story. It's very much Jane's personality has been instilled in the culture of Birdsnest. And yeah, everything they do is, everyone talks about being customer centric, but they go to another level, and all their employees, really reflect that culture. And it's a fun shopping experience, even though it's not my target market. As I say, I'm not a yummy mummy, but it's a fantastic website and, really good experience. So she's always inspired me.
Yeah. And it's amazing with people like Jane, how humble and curious they remain. So I caught up with Jane when we did the Clavio event, we did the Clavio podcast, and the whole time off air, she was very much humble, saying, oh, look, I don't know anything, and, I'm still finding my way, and asking questions around what other people are doing at the same time. And that's after, oh goodness, I'll put words in her, I think 20 years in business at Birdsnest, but never stopped learning and staying humble the whole time. And I think that says a lot around longevity in retail.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, number 3. Name a piece of tech that you or your business couldn't live without.
Yeah, for me, it's Xero. That's a bit nerdy, but
you can tell you're the money guy.
Yeah. I love pretending to be an accountant, even though our actual accountants don't like me interfering. But yeah, I think Xero has been great. I mean, look, at a basic level, just even Excel and things like that. It's our starting canvas for everything. I know it's funny for me to say that. I never would have said that 15 years ago, but I think if you can't start, as soon as any idea forms, you got to start drilling down on how to actually implement it, and you need your modeling tools for that. And I think Excel and Xero are great for that.
Perfect. I love it. Number 4, can you recommend a book or a podcast that our listeners should immediately get into?
Yeah, there's a few. There's one, there's two. Well, for podcast, add to cart.
Oh, stop it.
But
isn't there a Power Retail one now too?
Yeah, we do.
Give it a plug.
When I say we, I mean not me. So Rosa, our editor, has built a great series of interviews with different people, inspired by the great Nathan Bush. So, we've got quite a few subject matter experts on that.
Yeah, great.
But, 2 books. One is 0 to 1, and I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's by Peter Thiel. He's one of the co-founders of PayPal.
Yep.
I guess also a right-wing nut job like Elon. But the book itself is really compelling for anyone who's fascinated about innovation. And basically the concept is, okay, well, there's one to many, which is like, okay, something has been done and you are iterating on, your idea is an iteration of that. But what's very hard is going from 0 to 1. So creating something out of thin air that takes off. And so it's a really compelling and inspiring book for me on that front.
Brilliant.
And the other one, it's the sequel to Good to Great.
Yes.
I think it's something like Great by Design, but it studies 8 companies that have stood the test of time through various world events, bad economies, recessions, and things like that, and basically ties together. If it looks at the 8 companies that have just been steady performers and how they've done it, and it presents it in the form of 3 sort of guiding principles for navigating challenging times. And I thought that was a really, really good book as well.
And I think even if you haven't read that book, you've probably been influenced by it in some way, like concepts like the flywheel. Flywheel existed before that, but it really brought it into the consciousness, I think, of a lot of business people. The hedgehog concept, sharpening the sword, all that sort of stuff. No, sharpening the sword's not that one, is it? The hedgehog is, flywheel is, but most people have understood these concepts now, even if you haven't read the book.
Yeah, well, this one talks, the 3 things, and I still need to read the book. So, but there's 3 things in there. One is productive paranoia, and I think I'm a good example of that, which is, you're not insanely paranoid, but I come to work every day thinking this could be the week that the doors close, and so act accordingly without driving everyone crazy, but always trying to think about, what could be coming down the line and planning worst case scenarios so that, we're ahead of that. It's sort of basically the concept there. Shoot bullets, then cannonballs. So start something, don't, start with the cannonballs, but find a way to fire some bullets, and e-commerce is great for that. You can do testing on just about anything before you actually have to go broader to your whole market. And then the last one is, I think it's called the 20-mile march, but it's basically just saying, look, when they studied these 8 businesses, what they had 8 businesses that won through that period and 8 businesses that lost. And they were in different categories. So it would be Southwest Airlines versus some other airline that no longer exists. And so they stacked up what the successful ones did through those periods and what the ones that failed didn't do. Yeah. And then, so that last piece was around the 20-mile march, which was just like, hey, we're in an economic boom. We should be going hard. We should spend more. We should invest. Whereas the good CEO said, no, we stick to our strategy. We ignore the noise and we just carry on. And those that overinvested, then when the market turned, found themselves without, foundation underneath them and crumbled. So, those were some of the messages in that one.
Great lessons, great recommendation. Thank you. Last question I've got for you, Grant. What is your biggest challenge today?
Yeah, my biggest challenge is just cash and capital. We're a small business, so we just have to, continually do more with the resources that we have and, keeping people motivated there. I think the key challenges for me, if we go back to global marketplace, is being in charge of 3 quite different businesses and having to switch gears. After this, I'll talk to someone in New Zealand and have to think about what's happening there, and then talk to someone in the Power Retail team, and then Click Frenzy. And
all totally different models too.
Yeah, that's right. So that's probably the challenge I experience, or I find the most difficult at the moment, and especially when we're, like every business, tightening up on spending and things like that. So again, doing more with less means, you just got to work harder. But having that headspace for 3 different businesses is a challenge.
I could imagine. I don't know how you do it, but I'm glad you do. So thank you, Grant. Appreciate you joining us on the checkout today. Enjoy that New Zealand chat after this.
No worries. Thanks, mate.
To hear more from Grant, head back into episode 516, where we talk about why e-commerce sites are starting to look like clones, how ClickFrenzy lit a fire under Aussie retail, and the one metric that Grant says that we are all getting wrong. It's bold, brutally honest, and probably exactly what we need to hear right now.